The Mexican government has announced that it is awaiting a formal response from tech giant Google before deciding whether to file a lawsuit over a contentious mapping dispute involving the Gulf of Mexico. The issue centers around the naming and territorial representation of the body of water, which Mexico refers to as the Gulf of Mexico, Golfo de Mexico, but which has occasionally been labeled differently in international contexts. The dispute gained traction after Mexican officials noticed discrepancies in how the Gulf was depicted on Google Maps and other digital platforms. Specifically, concerns were raised over the use of alternative names or ambiguous boundaries that could imply shared or disputed sovereignty. Mexico maintains that the Gulf is an integral part of its territorial waters and has historically been recognized as such. In a press conference earlier this week, Mexico awaits Google's response before proceeding with lawsuit over Gulf dispute. Minister Alicia Bárcena stated, "We have formally reached out to Google to address this matter. The Gulf of Mexico is a sovereign space for our nation, and any misrepresentation on global platforms is unacceptable. We are hopeful that Google will respond promptly and rectify the issue. If not, we are prepared to take legal action to protect our national interests." The Mexican government has emphasized that the issue is not merely a matter of semantics but one of national sovereignty and historical accuracy. Officials have pointed to international treaties and historical records that affirm Mexico's exclusive rights over the Gulf. They argue that any deviation from this recognition could set a problematic precedent for territorial disputes worldwide. Google, for its part, has yet to issue a public statement regarding the matter. However, sources close to the company suggest that the tech giant is reviewing Mexico's concerns and consulting with legal and cartographic experts to determine the appropriate course of action. Google Maps, which relies on a combination of satellite data, government sources, and user input, has occasionally faced criticism for its handling of politically sensitive borders and names. The potential lawsuit could have broader implications for how digital platforms handle geopolitical disputes. As mapping technologies become increasingly influential in shaping public perception, governments around the world are paying closer attention to how their territories are represented online. This case could set a precedent for how tech companies navigate the complex intersection of technology, politics, and international law. Legal experts note that Mexico's case would likely focus on international law principles, including the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which governs maritime boundaries and territorial waters. However, the unique nature of digital mapping adds a layer of complexity, as there is limited legal precedent for such disputes in the tech era. The Mexican public has largely supported the government's stance, with many taking to social media to express their pride in the nation's sovereignty. Hashtags such as #GolfoIsMexico, the Gulf is Mexico, have trended on platforms like Twitter, reflecting widespread national sentiment. As the situation unfolds, all eyes are on Google's next move. A resolution in favor of Mexico could reinforce the importance of accurate digital representation in matters of national identity, while a prolonged dispute might highlight the challenges of reconciling technology with geopolitics. For now, Mexico remains in a holding pattern, waiting for Google's response before deciding whether to escalate the matter to the courts. The outcome of this dispute could have far-reaching consequences, not only for Mexico and Google but for the broader relationship between technology and international diplomacy.